Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm your host, Ellie Holder, and this is Weather and Lifestyle News Show. And Sea lion attacks. Oh boy! Now I've lived in California, and them little things are mean. Uh, there's a couple beaches where they'll keep their distance, but then there's some beaches where they're just after you, and they're mean. Now I have to admit, my son liked to tease them and they would chase him and they just about got him a few times. And of course, he comes running to me and I'm like, don't bring him over here, go run him up to the parking lot or something. So um happy Thursday. Boy, this week went by quick. It's already time for trivia. It's one of my favorite shows. I don't know. I'm tossing it up in the air. We did cartoons last week, so hopefully you guys will come and join us for trivia tomorrow night. And boy, the weekend already. Uh, earthquakes. Earthquakes aren't that, they're up in the fives. They're getting big. Um, and actually, there was a big one over on the mid Atlantic going up towards. See, I think Iceland's going to get hit. I disagree with Dutch sense. Iceland has been rumbling. So is Yellowstone. And I want to say with Yellowstone, everybody keeps thinking it's the big one, the big crater that's in the center. It's not. It's one of the um, smaller volcanoes at the north end of the park. So it's not the big one they all want to scare you with. Yeah. So um, boy, a lot of different news today. Koalas is in there. And then we got um, the weather. You could go down to Florida right now and get in the waters, and you would probably be in bath water. Um, they say some of them say it's down about 5 feet. Some say it's on the surface. But it's warm water in Florida. It's like hot tub. I wonder if people aren't using the hot tubs at the motels down there just because the water's so warm. I think they had 101 degrees. I think that would burn you, wouldn't it? I mean, I've never checked water to see, the temperature I take my showers in, but I don't know. That seems kind of warm to me. All right, so we're going to get to the weather. Um, Susan, it looks like you guys are going to get some storms. That's what it seems like to me. So we'll get the weather and we'll get some earthquakes done and on with the fun news. Uh, with weather and lifestyle news, you're not going to get much of what's going on in the world. You got to wait till the following hour. So you'll have to come back. And if you like light news, fun news, animal news, of me making jokes, bad jokes, oh boy. Sometimes I could be funny, huh, Susan? I don't know where Karen is today. She's slacking. She's slacking somewhere. I bet she has a baby and having fun. Maybe she went to Florida to be in the hot tub. I don't know. Yeah, we're sitting about 99. I won't even look when it's this hot. I don't even want to look because then I get hot. It's hot. Do you, when you find out it's 100 plus, um, um, if you look at the temperature, do you feel hotter? I do. I mean, I'm just like, oh, good grief. Yeah, good grief. Uh, just the two of us. Yeah, that's a see. There's a song. What about mamas and the papas? Why does everybody keep thinking that um, 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 she choked on a ham sandwich? That rumor is so old, and you thought it would have died in the 70s, but no, TikTok's bringing it back. And I think that, and I don't do TikTok because um, it's a hacking app. Um, I just don't do it. And I tell my kids not to, but they do it anyway. They don't listen. But why does this keep happening? There's a rumor and then, it surfaces back up and everybody hears the truth and they blow it off. Um, And then it's kind of like when they say people are dead and they're not really dead. And then it goes all over the web, all over social media. If you imagine, the person like, I think it's Clint Eastwood that keeps saying he's dead. And he's probably like, I'm not dead. Who come up with this idea? So, all right, I'm going to get on with the weather. And so we can get on with the show and you guys can hear about all this good stuff.
Two areas of severe weather risk. One is an enhanced risk, 3 out of 5 in the upper Midwest. Gusty winds and large hail, hail up to 2 inches here. And we cannot rule out 1 or 2 tornadoes as well. So make sure you have a way to get warnings overnight. Chicago, you're going to see 2 hits of thunderstorms, one overnight, another greeting you as you get going on your morning drive Friday. Then we move to the east, from down East Maine to the Chesapeake Bay. Slight risk here, gusty winds and hail, but actually tornado risk a little bit higher here. So do have a way to get warnings. By the time we hit midnight, everything should be clearing off the coast. We're back into the Mississippi Valley and the Great Lakes for severe weather on Friday. Slight risk right now, stretching from parts of Pennsylvania back into Iowa. Gusty winds, hail, and 1 or 2 tornadoes.
1 or 2 tornadoes. We hope not. Are we done with tornado season yet? I am. But next month, or no, September. So 2 months from now, or starts tornado season again, the second tornado season for Arkansas. But we run with the hurricanes too. So no more tornadoes, no more hurricanes. All right. So hot tub weather in
Sea surface temperatures off the southern tip of Florida.
Boy, I tell you, this thing always starts without me. I need a quicker finger. I have a ball mouse, so I don't move my mouse. Oh, there, I'll show it to you guys. There you go. So it's a ball mouse, and oops, you don't want to push buttons on it. So all I have to do is move the ball with my thumb and then use my finger to click. And I don't always click my finger fast enough. I love my ball mouse. If you have carpal tunnel in your wrist, try this. So, all right, we're going to get to the hot tub. Yeah, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, boy. That's all the warm and the hottest. So let's hear about this hot tub.
Sea surface temperatures off the southern tip of Florida reached an astonishing 101 degrees on Monday. That's equal to or hotter than your typical hotel hot tub. The reading was made by a buoy in Florida Bay, which is between the peninsula and the Florida Keys. The water was even hotter than the air outside, and if verified, it could be a world record according to data compiled for a study in 2020. There are some caveats, though. For example, the buoy is in shallow water, which could make it more susceptible to big temperature swings. Regardless, sea surface temperatures in the area are way above normal, and that's not good news for the weather. The warmer water is, the more it evaporates into the atmosphere. That drives up humidity, which in turn pushes up the heat index on land. Florida as a whole had its warmest first half of any year on record, dating back to 1895. The hot water could also fuel any hurricanes that move over it and cause serious environmental impacts, including fish kills and coral bleaching.
I'm thinking the fish is already cooked. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, 101, really? I mean, that's slow cooking fish. I wonder if all the ones on land. I mean, let me show you the picture again. All those are all fish. I wonder if they're all cooked. Well, I don't like fish, so I wouldn't eat it. But yes, it is a wireless mouse. Um, so, and every once in a while you got to pop out the ball on it because underneath the ball there where it holds it, it'll get dust in it and don't quite work right. So, I got to dust it out, and it's the kids eat in my office. They get their little grimy mitts all over my mouse. But I love it for those that have a lot of hand issues. Um, and my hand don't hurt as bad, and my fingers don't go to sleep. So great mouse. So anybody looking, you know, for a new mouse, something different. Now it's a little hard to get used to because it's different. But it just takes a day or two, and wham, you got the hang of it again. So, all right. Great comment there, Susan. That's what I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking it's all these volcanoes. They run underground and all the way through the ocean, and it runs from one side of the country to the other side of the country. It goes underneath our oceans. Um, the Ring of Fire. I mean, I'm surprised we haven't heard that California waters are doing the same thing, but so far, nothing. Now, the Gulf they say the Gulf waters are very warm. Um, it's to me, it's more bogged in by land, so you would expect it. But yeah, it's wow, 101 degrees. That's what I was saying. I wonder if people aren't using the hot tubs at the hotels and using the ocean. I would, you know, I'd trust the water in the ocean a little more. And plus, you could see the fish. As long as no sharks, no sharks. And in the Gulf, no alligators. Man, I seen a video yesterday. This kid is fishing. It was one of them videos where you don't see this very often, or it's just a compilation of videos. And this little kid, he's 4 or 5 years old. He's fishing, and he catches a fish. Well, then he drops his pole and runs, and the dad scoops him up and runs with him. An alligator has got the fish and comes running up on the shore with the fish. Now, more than likely, he was just going to eat the fish, not the kid. But wow, who fishes at places like this with kids? Not me. I wouldn't even fish with knowing alligators are around. Um, we got an alligator farm here, the thing, and you get up close and personal, and you just don't want to be around the alligators. All right, I'm going to sit and yak and run my show late. All right, so let's get on with the earthquakes. I told you, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge had a 5.1, and to me that's kind of big. And we've got Iceland up on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and it's very quiet over around Italy, Greece, to where we see it pushing that way. Now, Hawaii does have a few. Captain Cook. I didn't know there was a Captain Cook in Hawaii, and I think I've said it last time. And that was a 3.1. Then we had a 2.8 in Lapahoho. What a name, Lapahoho. They got the greatest names in Hawaii. And so, Lapahoho had I wonder if that's where ho-hos come from. I wonder if they came up with the ho-ho. But it's a H-O-E, ho. So it's not a ho-ho. It's a ho-ho. Same thing. But I wonder if ho-hos come from there. Yeah, that's me. Okay, so over in Tonga, we had a 5.5. 5.5 in Fiji. Then we had a 5.0 in Vanuatu. See the fives? And then up in Russia, Shikotan, 5.3. It's very quiet. Now, yesterday we seen quite a few in Alaska. Now it's really quiet, but we do have that one, Denali Park. Now, they probably did feel this. It was only a couple miles deep. So I bet you Denali Park felt it. And then on the tip of Alaska Peninsula was a 2.7. Now, that could be keeping lava flowing and all of lava, ash, steam for all of the volcanoes that are flowing up there. There is one over in Japan that went. It's spewing ash, but it hasn't had any ash or steam, and they say in decades. And no one's really listed it. Dutch Sense talked about it, and I went and looked, and there's really not much on it. You can't find info on it. Uh, so then we get into, oh boy, let's get into the United States, where the Strait of Georgia, Washington, 2.5. That one, I don't know if they felt it because it was pretty deep. Um, Prattville, California, 2.8. Um, Piedmont, California, 2.6. These are all pretty tiny. Pinnacles, California, 2.5. All of them are shallow, but I don't think you would have kind of felt kind of weird, but not, you wouldn't feel much. Um, Now, Idaho, Chalice, Idaho with a 2.5, and then down to Toya, Texas. Now, we've been seeing a lot in Toya. So, Susan, um, that, we're waiting for it to head up to the East Coast. And it's a hit and miss, a 50-50 chance every day. Now, let's see, she said, I've heard the saltwater crocodiles, but I've never seen anyone attacked in the ocean from a crocodile. No. Now, they are on the west side of um, Florida and down along the Keys. They have them. But I think a lot of the alligators that are seen there are brought in because they even got crocodiles out there. Um, and they shouldn't be. They got pythons. They got them big bunny rabbit looking things. They've got iguanas. All of this has been brought in. Even great big spiders. Now they're starting to see coconut crabs in Florida. These species of animals should never be there. And people want to sell it. They think, oh, these are so neat. I'm going to bring them in and everybody can have one. Well, they're not good to have. Look at the Asian carp that we talked about that are jumping, don't belong in our waters, and they're taking over and pushing out the normal fish. All right, so I'm going to move on. And so the earthquakes, there was only 29 earthquakes. All this week has been low 20s, in between 23 and 28. So we had 29 today. To me, this is calm before the storm. Now he says a couple of sevens, and I'm thinking Iceland, maybe Japan. We had that big one in Alaska, and it tends to be in areas different, except for like Turkey can make a lie out of me because remember they kept getting those big ones over and over again. So I'm thinking Japan and Iceland, and he keeps saying the West Coast. The West Coast is due for one. We've seen the big one down in Mexico. So, in between Mexico and Alaska is the West Coast. And a lot don't happen usually around Canada. It normally starts around Crescent City, California, and down to Los Angeles and San Diego. Okay, let's move on. Now, we talked about and seen the video on the hot waters that is down in Florida. And, it doesn't just affect the fish. It's now affecting the coral. And what's really odd about it's bleaching the coral. And so here we go.
Just as scientists feared, things aren't looking good for coral in the Florida Keys. This is Horseshoe Reef, one of the Keys' most famous dive spots. You can see coral here that is bleached or diseased, and in some cases, even dead. This is about 11 miles southeast from where a sea surface temperature of 101 degrees was measured Monday in shallower water. Temperatures around Horseshoe Reef are running in the 90s, which is still higher than usual, according to NOAA spokesperson Scott Atwell, who we spoke with Wednesday evening. Coral bleaching can happen when water temperatures get into the 80s, and it isn't uncommon in the summer around the Florida Keys. But here's something else Atwell told us. This year, the bleaching is happening weeks or even months earlier than normal. That's a direct result of these hot tub-like water temperatures, and the worst may be yet to come. Summer water temperatures typically peak in July, and sustained periods of warmer water typically run through August.
Isn't that something? Wow. And I'd never heard until now that that happens in July and August, that it bleaches the coral reefs. This is the first time I've seen it, so I thought I would grab it and let you know what this hot tub water does. Um, I'm pretty sure everybody heard that Sinead O'Connor died at the age of 56. They're being very, very quiet, folks. They're not saying why. Her son committed suicide a year ago. She's very depressed, they said, and has had depression issues since she became a singer and became famous. Um, I'm pretty sure they're going to take a look and do an autopsy, and we'll know within the next few days. But prayers to her family for two losses in a year. Um, all of us know her music, and she had the one hit. But after that, it seemed she pulled away from Hollywood and the rest of the music industry, like others have done. Uh, there's stuff that happens in Hollywood, folks, and the music industry that chases away some of the best artists. Or if you notice, they just flip and things change. Um, so, Sinead O'Connor died um, at 56 years old. All right, now the mamas and the papas. Now on July 29th, 1974, Cat Elliott died. Um, and they're making a big comeback with their music on TikTok. Except for now, TikTok is letting a rumor come out that she choked on a ham sandwich. How many of you think this? Now, they thought they had put the rumor to bed, they say, after she passed a few years after. But this big misconception of how she died, um, this vicious rumor that she choked on the ham sandwich is simply not true, folks. After performing for 2 weeks and receiving rave reviews, um, and she was overweight, she had heart issues, and they said sometimes after performances she would have to sit. She would breathe hard and hold her chest. Now that's sign of heart issues, definitely. And many of the band members had said so. And so sometimes they would have to do performances for a week or two, and then they would stop and they would go for, they would just do performances or do recordings. And then they would go back out on the road again. But now she did fix herself a late night snack, which was a ham sandwich, and it was placed on the nightstand. And um, the doctor said there was a bite or two out of the sandwich, but that was it. Now, there was a full autopsy, and they found it was heart failure due to a variety of things. Now, she was addicted to LSD. She was starting to use heroin, and um, um, but according to the band members, she was not on heroin at that point in her life, but likely weakened her heart at that time. She was on yo-yo weird diets that caused her blood pressure to rise up and fall. She was 100 to 150 pounds overweight. And they said the autopsy said, with all those things together, it was heart failure that she died of. So if someone tells you that she died of a choking on a ham sandwich. Call it BS for what it is. The LSD and the heroin probably didn't help the crazy diets that she did. She did all kinds of every weird fad diet she tried. And they said that it really did hurt her physically. And like I said, and then the shows and moving around on stage and the hot lights back then, it took a toll on her. Um, so put the rumor to rest once again in 2023. She did not choke on a ham sandwich. All right. Sea lions. Oh my goodness, these crazy little creatures. Um, these crazy little creatures are attacking. They're not just harassing people. They're not just going towards them. They are actually attacking people and chasing them out of the water. Um, and they do bite, folks. Now, I don't know if they got rabies or diseases or anything, but if you're laying on the beach and you got one of these things coming at you, you'll hear it. Uh, you really don't want to be bitten by one of these. All right, so here we go.
Please give that large sea lion plenty of room. They have bit people in there protect the animals.
Oh, let's not have him on our screen. Huh. So yeah, they're attacking. We got whales attacking, we got sharks attacking, we've got oh boy. Um, Everything seems to be mad right now. People are enraged. Attacks, even attacks on freeways, road rage. Everybody's mad. I told William last night, I said, you know, um, it, boy, we got to put in a good word or something. Soothe the savage beasts. They're not, what's happening? Is it the water? Is it the air? Is it the people on their beaches taking over? The beaches have been there with people on it for hundreds of years. And now all of a sudden we have crazed, mean animals that want to attack and bite. Huh. Maybe it's the warm water. I don't know. But something's wrong with our animal ecosystem. Whales washing up on shore, sharks, garbage islands, two in the Pacific, one in the Atlantic, one close to Hawaii. Is it the garbage? Like I said, is it the water? Is it the garbage? Is it the air? Is it the people? Is it the warm water? I don't think this has anything to do with climate change. I think it's pollution in itself. All right, alien aircraft could have caused most bizarre rocks on Mars, they say. They've reportedly not ruled out extraterrestrial spacecraft to explain anomalies recently discovered on Mars. Do you get the feeling they're pushing this UFO stuff pretty hard? They got a hearing on it, and there's a Blue Book, and there's Roswell, and Skinwalker Ranch, and wow. So they found bizarre rows of spikes, plates, and wedges in the Gale crater on Mars in April. A research paper recently published said the sand spikes, those can be seen on Earth following massive earthquakes, but researchers also noted that fragment from an extraterrestrial spacecraft could not be discounted. Yeah, you know what I call that? Clickbait. I don't know, folks. Everybody says, "Do you think they're real?" Now, I'm going to admit something. Me and my daughter one night was coming down a big hill that came from out of town into Conway. Now we seen something above a supermarket. Now it was triangle, maybe rectangle, and had lights on it, no noise. And the first thing I thought of is, ooh, look at what NASA made. Look at what Roswell got. It was a ship, a spaceship, I guess. It was unidentified. I've never seen nothing like that before. But being told in the 80s that the SR-71 was something that we made in the 50s, you can't rule out that some of this stuff's got to be experimental aircraft that Raytheon or one of them are working on. And of course, we hear Roswell experimental aircraft too. A drone. This thing was too big to be a drone. It was huge. It made the shopping center look like an ant, as big as this was. Now, it wasn't just me that seen it. My daughter seen it. And every so often I ask her, did we really see that? She said, yes, she's seen it. So two of us seen it. Now, okay, say Ellie's crazy, but that's what we seen. I think it was more of experimental aircraft than it was saying little green men were in it. Um, I want to wait and see. I just want to wait and see. Biblically, I just don't believe it. Um, so, a hundred whales beached in Australia, and they decided to euthanize them. And despite massive attempt to rescue them, they just could not get them. And you'll see why. Let me show you a picture. They were all together, which is unusual. Usually, they only do that after a whale has died, but they don't normally group up and then strand themselves on the beaches. Now, you'll see 4 or 5 of them do it, but they say 200 volunteers and wildlife officers um, tried to save these whales. And it was like they were suicidal. They wanted to die. They didn't find any dead in the middle. They were thinking maybe that's what it was, and then they just washed up. No, they stranded themselves. So now we look at how many we lost. 100 whales, another 100 whales. That's why I said something's wrong with our oceans, folks. I don't think it's because it's warming up. I think they could swim to the deepest where it's cooler. I mean, why would a fish go to the surface and be cooked when it can survive in deeper waters? That's what I've learned from the whalers, from the whale guys. Um, they'll go to deeper waters. Any fish would, but for some reason we're seeing a lot of weird things. Even penguins, they're saying, are losing um, losing directions. And penguins are pretty smart. And they're up where it's cold anyway. So I say it's got to be something in the water. Is it the water, the air, or what? Or is it the garbage? Uh, let's see if I can get this. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to let's see, I got to pull it up, I think, this way first, and then play it. So you kind of wonder what that is. Oh, I need to get out of this. Um, this was a koala. It's a baby koala that um, is in the Sydney Zoo, and it's special because um, they don't normally get these babies to make it. And that you seen this one was only a pound. Now, for some reason, I think that's Steve Irwin's daughter. Now, the son has went on to be a weather guy, but I think that was Steve Irwin's daughter, but that doesn't say. Um, and his name is Parker, and he's a new addition, they say, to the Australian Zoo. And he's getting many, many, many visitors. Uh, all right. And this one here I got to really think on because it says the key ocean current is close to collapse. And, I seen that and I thought, why isn't Dutchsinse talking about this? But, I think he has. And the current is underwater. It will change the way the seafloor is, but it can also push up against a lot of these ridges. So I'm thinking that's what we've got going. But I wanted you guys to take a listen to this one.
Might be close to collapse. That's according to a new study in the journal Nature Climate Change. A collapse would be a really big deal for the climate, and let me explain why. So the AMOC, A-M-O-C, stay with me on this, Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. It's a really important ocean current that transports warm salt water from the tropics up into the North Atlantic. Then the cold water comes back around to the ocean floor, moving southward. It's kind of like a conveyor belt. So the AMOC is really important because it transports nutrients that sustain ocean life and distributes warmth around the globe. It's been slowing down for a little while, but in this study, researchers say that a tipping point is imminent if global temperatures continue to rise, and the current could stop completely. Now, it's ebbed and flowed in the past, even stopping before, but that was thousands of years ago during the Ice Age. In today's world, a collapse would mean a huge shift in the climate over a relatively short period of time. We're talking around 30-degree temperature average drops in Europe, dramatic droughts and sea level rise in the US, and stronger hurricanes along the East Coast. The study's authors said that a collapse could start as early as 2025 or as late as 2095. It's uncertain. The potential for collapse is just another reason to curb our greenhouse gas emissions worldwide.
Well, I don't agree with his climate change thing, but I could say the warmer waters have caused. Now, did you hear the whole thing? The last time they seen it, there was an ice age. Are we moving to an ice age? Mother Nature always fixes herself, folks. She really does. And when it got too hot in the past, hundreds of years ago, we went into an ice age. And then, of course, after the ice age, and we started warming up again. Are we pushing towards another ice age? We'll see what Mother Nature does, because Mother Nature always fixes herself. You know what they say, don't fool with Mother Nature. Wasn't that chiffon? Oh boy, bad commercial. China issues guidelines on standardization of intelligent connected vehicles. They now want to have self-driving cars that can be controlled or automatically turned off, they say. That's supported by they want to do this by 2025, and it'll be sound safety assurances, because it won't let you go faster than the speed limit. It's going to be one of them smart cars. So if you're driving over the speed limit, they might be able to cut your car off. Remember the cars had the breathalyzers in it, and if you had alcohol, it wouldn't start. That's kind of how I'm thinking this is going to work. You guys have got to watch. I got to get this stuff with William going, because it makes a lot of sense. The new 15-minute city, because then they can have these cars that don't go over 20 miles an hour. And what happens if you want to go and get on the freeway? We'll have to see what China does. And China is big on this. They want everybody in these smart cars. And of course, the CCP and Jinping has said they will have the control and cutoff switch to everybody's cars, even what you listen to on the radio. Who want? I mean, what would our government have us listen to? Probably Rachel Madcow. I'm sorry, Rachel Maddow. Someone like that. Or really bad polka music. I bet it'd be really bad polka music. Yeah, something to irritate us. Who knows? All right. On this day in history, July 27th, 1940, Bugs Bunny debuted as a film, The Wild Hare. See, that's why I did cartoons. I should have waited this week, but no, I wanted to get it over because I couldn't remember which day that Bugs Bunny came out, and I couldn't find the info. All right, so onward. Are we aging? Let's see. Which one do I want to do here? Well, I'm going to do with the aging. All right, so just before the funeral services, the undertaker came up to a very elderly widow. How old was your husband? 98, she replied. 2 years older than me. So you're 96, the undertaker commented. And she responded, hardly worth going home, is it? Yeah. Nice thing about being senile is you can hide your own Easter eggs. And what do you, an interviewing a 104-year-old woman, and what do you think the best part of 104 is? She said, simply, no peer pressure. My memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Also, my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Know how to prevent sagging? Just eat until the wrinkles fill out. It's scary when you start making the same noises as your coffee maker. Oh boy, I haven't done that yet. Yeah. Oh boy. That's real bad. Especially if you're awake. I mean, snoring is one thing, but sound like your coffee maker when you're walking around. Boy, sit, stay. The senility prayer. Grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway, the good fortune to run into the ones I do, and the eyesight to tell the difference. And that's it for today, folks. So come on back tomorrow for more weather and lifestyle news. And I was glad you joined us today, and thank you for the support. Subscribe and share. This is a great show to share with anybody, folks. We try to give you some really great, interesting news, and not the politics, and not the hardcore stuff that makes you angry. Let's quit being angry. Let's be happy. Happy, joy. So have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. If not, come on back in about 15-20 minutes for the news. Thank you so much, folks. Have a great Thursday. God bless.